What's up guys, Bodytags coming back at you with another video. And today's video is going to be a little bit different and a little bit more of the theory side of League of Legends. Today we are going to be talking about poker theory and statistics theory, and we're going to look at how we can apply that to our League game, how to really change the way we look at the game, and how that can really help us out when making choice A or choice B in the macro game. So let's get right into it. The first theory that we're going to look at comes from poker. And this theory is basically just a way of measuring what type of profit you can expect out of a situation and the probability of that situation. And for those of you that haven't guessed it already, I am talking about expected value, or EV. You see, the thing about poker is that it is a game with variance. This basically means that things are going to happen that go against the odds of them happening. So for example, the odds of rolling a 6 with a die is 1 in 6 because all sides of a die are equal. There are 6 sides, so the probability of us getting the side with the 6 on it is 1 in 6. Simple enough, right? So let's say that you place a bet and you win under the terms of this bet every time that the die lands on anywhere between 1 and 5. Now this seems like an extremely good bet due to the probability, and it is, but that does not mean that it is outside the realm of possibility for the die to land on the 6. And this is largely due to the fact that there is variance in all gambling. So things are going to happen all the time that seem likely impossible to happen. And how do we make sense of this? How can we still come out on top when there is no guarantee of probability? The answer to this is EV. So we want to use EV as a system for measuring the likelihood of something to succeed. As long as we make choices that have a positive EV or expected value, we're going to be profitable in the long run. So the longer the game goes, the more likely we are to win, if we keep making EV positive choices. So now we're going to look at an example from one of my recent coaching sessions, and I've been uploading coaching videos lately on the channel. Let me know what you guys think of them. I think that they have a lot of good information in them, but I'm just going to feature a little part of one in this video. So I was talking to my client and he was telling me how whenever he loses 1v1s when he's smurfing, it really tilts him. And I think this little clip from the coaching session perfectly ties in with our discussion about variance in League of Legends, and how a lot of people will look at a situation and only see it as that one way that the situation could have played out, instead of looking at all the different scenarios that could have happened and accounting for the fact that the game naturally has variance.
Getting solo killed too. I remember I was on my Smurf, somehow got solo killed by some silver dude, and it was like, how did that just happen? You know what I mean?
Like, mistakes will always happen though. There's always a chance, right? So like, let's say that out of 10 times, 8 times you solo kill the silver dude, and 2 times he solo kills you, right? And realize that when a mistake does happen, like maybe if you're smurfing in like the 8 other scenarios, you would have gotten the solo kill. This just happened to be the one where he got it. Because there's because there's like a certain amount of unpredictability in the game, right? It's like even Faker can get solo killed by a gold player. Alright guys, and now let's get into the formula for EV, or expected value, itself. To calculate EV, you basically take the probability of an event occurring, you multiply it by the value of that event occurring. And it's also important to note that a value can be both positive and negative. So for example, a value would be positive when you're winning money on a bet, but a value can also be negative for all the times that you would lose money in a bet. So EV is probability times value. Do them for all the possible outcomes and add them up to get total expected value. So a super easy example is a coin flip. So let's say hypothetically that I offer you $1 if the coin I'm about to flip lands on heads. This means that the total EV of this bet is going to be 50 cents because the probability of the coin landing on heads is 50% since it has 2 sides. And in the event that it does land on heads, I will earn $1. So 50% times $1, that bet has a total EV of 50 cents, and it's a positive EV because I did not mention that I'd be taking away money from you if the coin landed on tails. Positive EV moves are the types of moves that we want to make in League of Legends and in poker to ensure that we're winning in the long run. Now, unfortunately, most gambling has negative EV. In fact, there's probably a handful of gambling games that you can play that have positive EV. The few that I can think of off the top of my head are poker. If there's a skilled player, he should in theory win the longer the game goes. Blackjack, mainly if you use methods such as counting cards, which are basically considered cheating. And sports betting if you have some type of insider info. With that being said, that's why I'm making League of Legends videos on YouTube instead of going out and gambling for a living. So we're now going to go ahead and get into the statistics section of this video. And for this part, we are going to do a fun little thought experiment. So we're going to switch over into a picture of Summoner's Rift, and I'm going to lay out the scenario for you guys. Okay guys, so here's the layout of the scenario or thought experiment. So you are playing on Summoner's Rift and you're playing as Rengar. You have the ability to one-shot the enemy AD carry. But obviously this is solo queue and all of your teammates are holding you back, so the entire map is completely black right now. You can't see anything, 0 wards. You ask your teammate to buy wards and he tells you that wards do not give any more damage, so he's not going to waste his money on them. Tough luck. And at the current time in the game, the enemy jungle and support are dead. So there's 3 lanes, they are completely dark, and you don't know what lies behind each one. So this is the choice you have. Behind 2 of these lanes, there are going to be fed solo laners, a Zed and a Jax. These guys can easily 1v1 you. They both have options to counter Rengar once he jumps onto them. And your team is kind of far behind anyways. But in the 3rd lane, there is a big, fat, juicy Jhin, an ADC with 0 escapes. She has no summoners because of the last team fight, and you know you can one-shot her. By the way, for the purposes of the thought experiment, we're going to assume that the enemies cannot rotate. So Zed will be in one lane, Jax will be in the other lane, and Jinx will be in the 3rd lane. So you have to make a choice, and you are completely in the dark. But you're allowed to choose any of the 3 lanes, so go ahead and decide which lane you think the Jinx is in. So now that you guys have your options, you could have chosen either top, mid, or bot lane. Please remember them, and we are going to go ahead and move on to the next phase of the thought experiment. Now, it is the holiday season, and I am feeling pretty generous, so since I know where the Zed is, where the Jax is, and where the Jinx is, I'm going to go ahead and reveal one of their positions to you. So here's the Zed, we caught him red-handed. And now I will offer you the opportunity to change your mind. So you picked one lane, I revealed that Zed was in another lane, and now you have the opportunity to either stay with your pick or change your pick to a different lane. Now I want you guys to go ahead and comment down below if you would change or keep your pick the same for the lane that Jinx is in. And let me know what you would guess the probability is of success with your choice. So go ahead, pause the video, comment down below your lane and the probability of success that the Jinx is there. If you answered that the correct move is to switch and that the probability of being correct is 66.7%, you are correct and you really know how to think about League in terms of statistics and probabilities. For those of you that are confused and wondering how the hell the answer is 66.7%, I'm going to break it down for you guys. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started with the explanation. I know that this is a really puzzling concept for a lot of people because when you just look at the 2 doors or the 2 lanes, you see a 50-50% chance, and that's just sort of something that's been ingrained into our brains for a long time. And we have a hard time processing things purely as statistics and accounting for variance and all that jazz. So I'm going to break it down step by step, super simple, and I guarantee that you will understand it by the end of this video if you just pay attention and follow along. So we're just going to test out every single option, and for the sake of the video, I'm just going to reveal what's behind each lane. So in lane 1 we have a Zed, in lane 2 we have a Jinx, and in lane 3 we have a Jax. Okay, we're all on the same page here? Okay, so for the first method, we are just going to select a lane, and we are not going to change our answer. So we select lane 1, the host reveals that lane 3 has the jacks behind it, and we decide not to switch when given the option. So this first trial is a loss. We lose the bet in this scenario. In the second scenario, we pick lane 2. As we all know, Jinx is there, so we don't switch when the host reveals Zed, and we stick with our gut, and we end up winning in this one. So this goes down as a win. And in the third scenario, we're going to pick lane number 3. We're not going to switch when the host reveals the Zed, and we're going to stick with our gut, but this time we end up losing, and our gut fails us. So as you guys can see, and I think we can all agree, there's a 33.33% chance of winning if you do not switch your answer. Now let's go ahead and try the other method. So same thing, we're going to pick Zed for the first round, and the host reveals that Jax is in the other lane, so then we switch our answer, and we end up on Jinx, so we win the first round. For the next round, we pick Jinx, lane number 2, the host reveals Zed, and gives us the option to switch. We take it, and we end up losing this round, of course, because we started on Jinx, and now we ended up on Jax. And for the final round, we start off on Jax, the host reveals Zed, he offers us the chance to switch, we decide to switch, and we land on Jinx. So as you guys can probably clearly tell by now, we actually squeeze out another win if we decide to switch our answers, therefore raising our odds to 66.7%. I know it can be kind of confusing to wrap your head around at first, but yeah guys, if you really want to get good at League of Legends macro and just making effective choices with positive EV, you need to start thinking about the game in probabilities, percentages, you need to consider variance and alternate scenarios, and just everything that we've gone over in this video. I really hope it helped you guys out. Always just remember that just because something works out, so like for example, you make a greedy play but you happen to get the kill, does not mean it's correct when you consider all of the alternate variations and ways that it could have gone. So make sure to focus on making EV positive decisions in your gameplay, and you are going to benefit in the long run. I put a lot of work into this video guys, so please leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed it. This is kind of more of a theoretical, in-depth video, but I'm confident that there's a lot of useful information here for you guys. Anyways, my name is Bodytags. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.